Like you said, yesterday Baton Rouge saw 4 separate shootings in just 24 hours, leaving behind at least 11 victims. The latest shooting happened last night at the AMC Theater parking lot near the Mall of Louisiana.
Carlos Rodriguez began working at Cristo Rey this past fall as a PE teacher and a track and field coach. And even though he was at the school for just a year, they said he had a huge impact on their school community. The Okaloosa County Sheriff says Rodriguez was seen in the Gulf of Mexico around 2 p.m. Friday.
This morning, state police identifying the motorcyclist that was killed in that crash as 44-year-old Sean Cadby. This all happened around 5:30 yesterday on Bayou Jacob Road in Iberville Parish. So if you're coming to celebrate the 4th of July here in downtown Baton Rouge next week, you won't be able to sit or stand on the levee to watch the fireworks at night. The city says they made this decision strictly for everyone's safety. Lawmakers passed the plan in the most recent legislative session that ended this past Thursday. The program builds on legislation passed in 2018 that extended the foster care age from 18 to 21 for anyone still in high school.
With feel-like temperatures reaching well into the triple digits this weekend, tournament organizers have an entire team dedicated to making sure that players and everyone else out here stays cool and hydrated. Being from South Louisiana, Linda Brumfield and her husband are no strangers to seeing alligators, but spotting one right here in the Mississippi River in the capital city was something they definitely didn't expect.
The vote passed 34-2 yesterday at the Capitol, with supporters of the bill saying it will help farmers diversify their crop and end regulatory confusion regarding products that contain CBD.
You're looking at the backyard of Eileen Verkijk's home on Berkshire Drive in Central right as a potential tornado is rolling through.
All of a sudden I hear things hitting my kitchen window. The sound was so loud, I said it was a tornado.
A trampoline slammed against a tree in the background, pool toys flying around in a cyclone motion, all as Verkijk and her family are hunkered down inside.
During the midst of all of it, we run into the hall closet and last about a minute and a half and come out to all the debris.
And shortly after it passes, the sound of chainsaws cutting through the misting rain and neighbors helping neighbors clear the debris, still shaken by what happened.
It was scary. It's scary because you don't know if your roof is fixing to cave in.
The fear realized on Brillock Avenue with a tree slicing through the front of this home. Verkijk says she considers herself extremely lucky that her family and home were spared from this potential tornado, considering what happened to this house just behind me, just a street away from them. And luckily for this family that was inside this house when the tree fell, they suffered only minor injuries.
I said we are the fortunate ones compared to that home. The mama and her little 3-week-old baby and 2 other children, I believe, are there.
As residents continue to clean up the mess, officials here are warning folks to stay cautious as they work.
Some of the tree limbs that had been broken all started to fall. We could see one in the distance that hit the ground. So just as homeowners are cleaning up the yard, just be aware of what's hanging over your head, and we don't want anybody else to get injured.
Injuries are limited so far, and damage is limited to 2 streets and a handful of homes. In Central, Trey Couvillion, WBRZ News 2.
It was actually Ari Latino's first time signing on live television, but you wouldn't know that because of how expressive and confident he was in front of all those cameras.
During our coverage of Tropical Storm Barry, there was something, or rather someone, that was catching people's eyes on TV.
It kind of came out of the blue, so I hurried up and got dressed and jumped up and ran over there to Ascension Parish, and they put me on camera. It was kind of last minute, had the cameras all there in the news.
With deliberate and energetic movement, Ari Latino provided sign language interpretation during the tropical storm.
The next day they called me out to come again, and do it live, and that's where it really started getting more attention, I think.
Now known for communicating and connecting with the deaf community on screen through his native language.
And attention started to spread, and people on Facebook just started giving me likes, and look at Ari, he's doing a great job. There's a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people were shocked that I was deaf.
Ari, born and raised in Louisiana, has been deaf his whole life.
When they found out that I was deaf, they weren't really sure. They thought maybe it was some I lost my hearing during the pregnancy, or maybe I was born deaf, but there's not really any sure whether it's hearing loss or whether I was born deaf.
And this weekend making a little bit of history in the state as he lit up our TVs and phones during storm updates.
And I felt like they were very happy to have a deaf interpreter, because here in Louisiana we don't have any deaf interpreters, and they're all hearing, and it was kind of a groundbreaking in the deaf community to have a deaf person interpreting.
The passion in his signing, well noticed after the press conferences were over, becoming a viral sensation of his own.
It was kind of a funny video, and I feel like, having me sign into rap is kind of funny, and but that's gone kind of viral, and it's really giving me chills.
Being only 19 years old, he's worked at Deaf Focus since he was 16, now running their own media center.
We do webcasts that we started about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. Time really flies. But we started those webcasts where we're educating deaf people on what we do with interpreting, with deaf education.
And with the spotlight on him, he now wants to highlight all the great opportunities Deaf Focus has provided him and hopes others can be afforded the same.
It will bring more awareness to the deaf community and more awareness to Deaf Focus, so we can continue working within the deaf community.
Now, Ari's birthday is tomorrow, and he has one special request for folks to donate to Deaf Focus through their website, deaffocus.org. Happy birthday, Ari. Back to you guys. From char-grilled to raw and everything in between, there was an endless amount of oysters in Town Square today, and it's events like this that are creating endless opportunities for businesses in the area.
Order up, no, with bread, no cheese.
No bread, no cheese.
Vendors from all over Louisiana shucking and shelling out thousands of oysters.
A very unique kind of festival with featuring oysters and cooked in a lot of different ways.
As thousands of people made their way to downtown Baton Rouge.
This is their second year out, and we were so pleased last year with their inaugural debut.
But it's not just the vendors that are raking in the cash.
This is a ripple effect, because when you have something that unique, and we know that they're building it up now, what we'll do is we'll bring people downtown. They may want to try some of the restaurants they haven't seen before. Maybe people come out of town, they want to stay in hotels.
Rohr says that events like the Oyster Fest are key in bringing people, not just from Baton Rouge, but from all over the state to the downtown area.
Come from Grand Isle, Louisiana.
This is what keeps it growing and going. You build upon events and developments that happen down here.
It's why dozens of business owners, like Kyle Harris, who runs the Oyster Man in Covington, made the decision to come back.
Well, last year went so good, and it was just the start of it, and now we're looking to, we're hoping to be a facet here every year. Last year we had like 6,000 or 7,000 people. They've already got 10,000 signed up this year that were coming on Facebook, so that's a pretty strong showing.
And why Rohr wants to continue to build the reputation of downtown as a community hotspot.
And this is your downtown, and that's why we're building this for a lot of these public events and public spaces for the quality of life in the community to enjoy.
The Oyster Fest continues until 11 p.m. tonight, so it's not too late to get out there. Proceeds from the event help benefit the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana. Brandy?